And I have my colleague here with me is VJ. VJ, introduce yourself, please.
Hi, good evening, good morning. This is Vijay Keval Ramani. I am the chairperson of India USA ICC India Division, and I welcome you all. Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for being here. We have a number of coming on, maybe on a staggered basis, but looks like we're going to have a full house today. I'm going to introduce David Gershon just briefly. David and I met in 1985, not 58, 1985. And he was doing his first world torch run, and he's been at peace ever since, and the creation of peace around the globe. And I'll let him say a little bit more about himself. But we want to welcome everyone here. So, Vijay, if you have those from India, if you want to allow them to introduce themselves, but everybody needs to be very quick. We have an hour and a half, and this is a very full workshop agenda.
They can introduce themselves. Jhansi is there, Mukesh is there, Bhu Maitra is there. They can all unmute and introduce themselves, please.
I'm Jhansi Premanand from District 3150.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else from India want to introduce themselves? Please be quick.
Hello, everyone. Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Shilpa Kher, and I'm the principal of Dr. Kalmadi Shamrao High School's kindergarten school. Malti ma'am asked me to join the meeting.
Fantastic. Glad to have you here. We love educators. India, please. Next.
Yeah, this is N.K. Gopinath, a past president of the Rotary Club of Madras in District 3234.
And they're doing fantastic work. Huge projects. Very impressive.
Thank you.
Hello, Dr. Deepak Agarwal here from District 3240. Hello, Dr. Sam.
Yes, Deepak, welcome. Glad to have you. Next from India, please.
Hello, I'm Samina. I work with gifted and talented students at Kaveri Group of Institutes with Shilpa ma'am here.
Well, wonderful. My goodness, we're getting a lot of educators, and that's what we want. The now and the future. Go ahead.
I am from India, Gunwant Biradar, District 3132.
And your club?
Rotary Club of Latur Horizon.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank
Next
you, sir.
from
Thank
India.
you.
Anyone else from India?
Hello, everyone. Mukesh Parmar, Rotary Club Modasa, District 3055. Thank you.
And he's the one working with the 150 tribal schools, and I think, what, about 36 Catholic schools as well. So a big organization. Anyone else from India?
Yeah, good evening here. My name is Nisha, and I'm also working with the Kaveri Group of Institutes, and I'm the principal from the primary section. So Malti ma'am asked me to join this too. So
Oh, fantastic. Everyone. Principals. We love them. Absolutely love them. Anyone else from India?
Hi, this is Suresh Moran from Rotary Club of Karur, District 3000. I study human relations as a research, and I have a startup.
Fantastic. Glad to have you. Anyone else from India? Okay, Larry, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Larry. I'm not from India. I'm from Lafayette, Oregon. I work with David on the Peace on Earth by 2030 moonshot, the Oregon Peace Trail, and I am in charge of peace polls for Rotary around the globe.
Yeah, Larry's Mr. Peace Poll, and he is really, really helpful. Thank you. Patricia from Capitol Hill.
Excuse me. Yeah, my name is Patricia Shake, and I'm the president of the Capitol Hill Rotary Club. And I'm very interested in what you're doing with regard to the Peace Initiative.
Fantastic. And our district governor is very supportive. Chris, please introduce yourself.
I'm sorry, Christopher Zeloff here, Philadelphia, Delaware Valley. filmmaker, and I followed David's work since the 1980s.
Yeah. And David, following you, Chris is becoming a Rotary member.
Beautiful.
Kevin, introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Kevin Kendrick, immediate past district governor in District 7680, which is Western North Carolina, and here because of David's presentation to us last week. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for being here. I saw you at that time. Let's see, who else do we have? Dovey? Is that correct? Dovey George? Doyle, excuse me, Doyle?
No problem. Everybody gets that wrong. Usually
Well,
they're
I couldn't
flipping
see
around.
it. The light was shining at a
No, I'm
odd
here
angle.
because I'm here because of Kevin. I'm in the Dilworth South Charlotte Club, 7680, and I'm very interested in what your presentation is going to be. Thank you.
Fantastic. Rich Lewis. Rich. Unmute, please.
You're not.
Rich,
You're muted.
unmute.
Bottom left audio, unmute.
Rich, you're still muted. Okay. All right.
On the
Let's see.
iPhone, it's sometimes hard to get.
Oh, I know. Sometimes it really is. So we have someone else that just came on from India. Ashok.
Yes, hello, Dr. Sam and David. I'm Ashok Patel. I'm a physician at Mayo Clinic in Minnesota, but currently housed in Seattle with my daughter, who's also interested in peace building. And thank you very much for inviting me.
And is it Arlen? Oh. Hello.
Who are you calling?
Irina.
Yeah, Irina.
Yeah. Irina. You got your Ukrainian spelling there.
Hi. Yes, I'm Irina Luhan, Tishenko from Ukraine. I'm here on invitation of Dr. Sam, and I previously was participating in David's peace games. I like them very much, and I'm looking forward to continue. And peace be to Ukraine.
Yeah, peace be to Ukraine. Amen. Michael, I don't think we've introduced you, and we're about ready to move forward here. Michael? Hagop, coming in from 2452. Hagop, you want to introduce yourself, please?
Hi everyone, how are you? Sorry, I jumped into the Zoom because I got a message from Sam. I'm currently on a trip in Yerevan, so I'm gonna try to follow up the meeting. I'm Rotarian from Lebanon, from District 2452, and pleasure to be with you guys.
Always good to have you, and thank you for representing that huge 9-country district. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. Samina.
I already introduced myself.
Okay, we can see you, so thank you. Mohammed, did we introduce you?
Thank you, Dr. Sam. Thank you, David. I'm Mohammed from Iraq. I'm dentist. I'm representative of Project Peace on Earth by 2050, and I'm the president of Ashtar Center for Democracy Support. Thank you.
He's doing mighty work there, David. So we really need to support him. Jane Ellen, welcome.
Thank you. I'm trying to, there we go.
There you go. Introduce
Hi,
yourself.
Yes, I am Jane Ellen Soms. I am actually a green real estate agent. I'm located outside of Washington, D.C., and I'm very happy to be here.
And we're glad you're joining us. Thank you. Guvant, please unmute. Guvant.
Yes, sir. Good evening. I am from
Maharashtra, India.
He introduced himself
And your
earlier,
club,
Sam.
please. Sarah, if you'll introduce yourself. Sarah, are you here? She was actually the first one on this morning. Okay. Anyone else that has not been introduced? We're about ready to switch over and turn this over to David Gershon.
It's me. I'm Dr. Kuhu Maitra from the Rotary Club of Capitol Hill, and I'm the International Service Chair for the District 7620. Thank you.
And thank you for being here. Thank you for the invitation to your president. Anyone else?
Yeah, me, Melanie Sanchez Jones. I attended yesterday the Peace Games introduction. I'm relatively new to Rotary, but I've been the last 2 years learning about peace and nonviolence. And so I'm really just here to listen. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you for
I live
being
in
here.
Pennsylvania.
Okay, fantastic. Anyone else? We have 1 more minute.
Hi, did you want me to introduce myself?
Of course.
I'm Marcia Hunt. I'm in the Westwood Village Rotary Club. That's the UCLA Rotary Club. And I'm one of his counterparts. I'm the president of the Ukraine USA ICC. And I'm happy to be here today.
Yeah, and you met David out in Calgary.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so we're having a little homecoming here. Anyone else? Got one, about 30 seconds. And we're glad everyone is here. And
Thank
David,
you.
I think we're going to have people coming on throughout the time. And really appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Sam.
Okay, let me get back to David so I can see him. There he is. This is David Gershon. We've known each other now, reconnected after 40 years in Calgary. But he has a very exciting program that he has established that's actually flying around the world, not just sailing around, flying around the world. And this is Peace on Earth by 2030, Moonshot. And we had the Moonshot part of that 2 weeks ago. And this is the follow-on with the workshop about how to try to set this up as pilots in Rotary clubs and Rotary districts around the world. Of course, we're coming out of the India USA ICC and looking at it from the standpoint of India. But we probably will have about 15 to 20 countries, David, that will be represented here today. And we want to get this moving as fast as possible. Mushan, as I told you, has 150 tribal schools in Gujarat state and 36 Catholic schools. And they would like to implement this system-wide, both over the tribal schools, which are under the Ministry of Education in Gujarat. And of course, the Catholic schools are related, but still independent. So we could have a tremendous, and we have a number of principles here. So we have a tremendous possible youth following for the Peace on Earth by 2030. So this is David Gershon. I'm going to let him introduce himself briefly. We're turning the program over to him. We'll be fading in and out. And then there'll be some breakout rooms. That'll take Vijay, who is the Indian representative for the India USA ICC, and really the grand founder of this group, and take us, I think, about 5 minutes to set up these individual rooms, David. So we'll just alert people to that. So everyone be patient. We'll have others coming on, and if we have time, we'll get everyone else introduced at the end. And this is being fully recorded. David, over to you.
Thank you, Sam. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming, spending this time with us. Sam, thank you for your diligence in getting the word out and just your positive attitude towards just about everything in life. So bless you, my friend, for being who you are.
And bless you too.
Thank you. So, well, there will be some people here that were not here last time. So I'm going to share briefly the overview of the Moonshot, and then I'm going to dig into actually how to apply it in your club and or district. And then there'll be a breakout where, well, before that, there'll be a visioning exercise where I'll be inviting you to envision how this might look for you in your club or district or whatever context you're in. I also want to honor that there are people here who are not Rotarians who've come to take advantage of this meeting. And so when we do the questions, you'll have to figure out how to apply it to your context. We're happy to have you here, but know that it may not be a perfect fit, some parts of this for you, particularly the teachers from India who are representing some of the schools. So with that said, let me begin. So let me just start with the big picture. And let me get my slides teed up here. So can everyone see my slides?
We can, David. It's
Okay.
up.
So let me put in present mode here for a moment. So this is a big idea. We call it a peace moonshot, meaning that it is an idea that, if successful, changes the world, but not easy to do. So this requires a certain mentality of people who come and are willing to go on a audacious ride to see if we can pull off something off that humanity has never experienced before. And we're calling it Rotary's next great endeavor. That is to say, this was a term actually coined by a zone leader, Patrick Eakes, and he calls it Rotary's next great endeavor. So he sees this, and I see this, and many Rotarians see this as the next major chapter for how Rotary at a global scale can have impact in the world. And you're part of that liftoff, if you will, for the moonshot. And we hope India will be one of the shining stars of this. I would also be so happy if Ukraine would play a key role here as well, given what's going on there and the potential for you to be holding moral authority in the world for this kind of change. So let us explore that also if you're interested. So let me share these slides. They're just 7, and then we'll go into the actual exercise and move you into how to implement this. So in short, the Peace on Earth by 2030 Moonshot is a bold, comprehensive peace initiative transforming the root causes of conflict and division into a global culture of peace by 2030. That is our vision statement for what we are attempting to do. We have a set of tools to enable that, but the big idea is that it's transformational and it goes to the very root of what enables change to happen and at the very root of what's causing conflict to happen in our world. So it's long-term, it's systemic. It's what I call second-order change, transformational social change. And this is the vision that we have been cultivating now for the last several years with Rotary. And the big idea is a global peace initiative through local action. Rotary is based on local action. Rotary is all about 46,000 clubs making their communities better. When they come together at scale, transformation can happen on a global level. As I've spent the last several years getting to know Rotary, I've now become a Rotarian in the last couple of months. So I'm probably the newest Rotarian here, but I've been working with Rotary for 40 years with Sam and many others. So I've been in the space of Rotary and its good works for 4 decades. And I characterize Rotary as a global jewel hidden in plain sight. No one really fully gets Rotary. I've been getting it, which is why I'm so excited to partner with Rotary. So the big idea here is that Rotary champions the peace moonshot through leveraging and unifying, not just leveraging, but unifying its global network, establishing 10,000 peace zones, which is a quarter of Rotary's clubs, which is the tipping point for Peace on Earth, which I spent time on the last call explaining the tipping point strategy. And hopefully many of you got the recording if you weren't there. But essentially, there are 10,000 cities, and we want to be able to have this peace game established in each of them and hit tipping points in each of those cities. That's why it's a tipping point. So now I'm going to go into the specific tools that we've built and customized for Rotary. The key thing now is that we realized, and I got this insight when I was in Calgary, that we had to customize these tools if Rotary was going to fully engage. They couldn't just operate in the way that we're currently operating, which is coming to global online peace games and/or just doing it in small groups outside of the context of Rotary. So we've created a Rotary Peace Game, which is an action-oriented tool empowering members to apply the 7 core transformative peace practices in their lives. And here's the key. It consists of 9 weekly or bi-weekly Rotary Club meetings. This is done in the context of a club meeting, either during, before, after, or on another day. And it's played in 3-person peace teams using our Peace Game app, which I shared. Sam, I did share the Peace Game app last time, did I not?
No, you did not. You said you're going to
I
share
did
it
not.
this time.
Okay.
You
Okay, then I'll
said you're
share the
going to
Peace
share
Game
it
app.
today.
Okay, thank you. I hadn't remembered if I'd done that or not. So I'll share the Peace Game app today. And one of the things that I'm very excited about was that we integrated the 4-way test in each of the 7 peace actions. And each of these peace actions achieves 3 ends from the Rotary point of view. It builds personal peace practices so you can practice this in your life, not just have concepts about peace or points of view about how you want the world to be, but actually be a practitioner by virtue of how you live your life, your daily lifestyle practices. It helps build change leadership skills so that you can take this knowledge and have impact in all your community projects and your life at large, everything else outside of Rotary. And as I said, it aligns with the 4-way test. So it's very Rotarized, if there's such a word. And then what happens after you play the peace game is the natural evolution is you want to have greater impact now that you see what its power is in your community, which is where Rotary lives, its mission, making its communities better places. So what that looks like is actively embodying the 7 peace practices. And if I was to distill into one single phrase what a peace zone does many things. It increases quality of life for individuals. It increases the quality of life for a community. But if I was to distill one single idea of the game changer that is enabled by a peace zone, is it enables greater cooperation for the common good. It gets the community to learn how to cooperate so it can produce better outcomes than currently, which is fragmented groups, sectors doing their own thing. So it brings government together, business together, nonprofits within the civic sector, and government agencies within the public sector, and businesses within the private sector. So we have a community aligned with a clear purpose. And the way it works is a Rotary club or a collaboration of clubs in a community, if there are multiple Rotary clubs in a particular city, commit to establishing their community as a peace zone. We have several people here wishing to bring this to their community, including Washington, D.C., Sam, that you've been helping spearhead. The club then selects, so before I go into this third bullet, creating a peace zone sounds like a great idea, but it's not easy to do. It takes hard work, it takes knowledge, it takes skill. And so we need quality leadership, and I'll speak to that in a moment, but we need a commitment for a person who's dedicated full-time to do this and is funded to do this. And so each of the clubs that say they want to do this need to commit to that. A person who's dedicated full-time. It doesn't have to only be paid. It could be through volunteer efforts, but fundamentally a qualified full-time person. And they then go through a 6-month program. We call it the Rotary Peace Zone Leadership Corps. And if you are not a Rotarian here wanting to bring this to your community, we can discuss how to get you into this program, even though it's Rotary oriented. And when they're certified, they can get hired. They have to go through and demonstrate that they are worthy of being invested in by the Rotary Club. So that's the process, part of the process. So here's how the Rotary Peace Zone Leadership Corps works. The selected leader participates in a 6-month transformative leadership training by Empowerment Institute on how to establish a peace zone. Empowerment Institute, my organization, has been around for some 4 decades, and we've been doing rigorous certification programs now for a good chunk of that time. My good friend Al Jubitz, and some of you may know him, a peace leader in Rotary, has committed to underwriting this initiative and is funding the tuition, which is valued at $5,000 for anyone who goes through this. The local club has to cover the travel and lodging for this person. There are 2 trainings, one in Portland in May and another one in Washington, D.C. Sam, we should be talking about that one in October. In between, there's field work, deep knowledge about you play the peace game. Together, you also will be learning about second order change and doing a practicum in the community in which you are going to be building your peace zone. When you're certified, and not until, because you need a trained person, then that allows us to recognize the community that's sponsoring you as a peace zone, which gives us confidence that that peace zone could go beyond just wishful thinking, this is a great idea, and do something around the edges to actually producing the kind of change that we are aspiring to create. And let me say one more thing about a peace zone. Again, I spent time on that last time, but I'll say the thing about a peace zone is it's built around the science of tipping points. And what we are targeting is a coherent group of 0.5% of the community. That's a tipping point. When that number of people have played the peace game, have come together in a coherent field, and is focused on this intention, you start to shift the field. This is a bit scientific, the process of how field building takes place, but that's the target. So it's a very focused outcome. And there's a whole handbook that we have, 54-page handbook that describes the process in some detail. The application's open for this on December 1st, and the training is May to October, as I mentioned. So why should a Rotary Club engage? Why should your Rotary Club engage? These are 3 reasons why I think one should consider this. If you are on the fence, you may already have decided this is something you want to do. Historic. I mean, peace on earth is going to change the world. And this is Rotary's next great endeavor. It is building from the bottom. This is not something that has been mandated from on top of Rotary. It's coming from the bottom, although there's many, many leaders involved from the board and many different levels of Rotary that are very excited to drive this forward. But it's historic, and it will inspire your club to be part of something that literally, I mean, how many times does someone knock on your door and say, would you like to be part of something that could change the world? Well, that certainly is our aspiration. We shall see. If enough people say yes, we will succeed. And Rotary can lead the way. Second is impact. One of the things that happens is that when you build a peace zone, you create more cooperative individuals in a community and a greater cohesiveness in the community, which enables every single project that Rotary invests in and is furthering to be more effective and successful for many, many different reasons. I've written a whole white paper on this topic, but it's a big deal when you can create change, what I call systems change, upstream, because then it affects everything, every single project downstream, all the different other focus areas of Rotary. The third thing, which is a big deal for Rotary or any membership organization, is it will elevate your club's profile through being part of this Peace Moonshot and inevitably attract new members, and I would suggest also younger members who are seeking impact and purpose. So those are the reasons, among others, that I would say this is a good choice for a club or a district that wants to move this through their clubs. So finally, my last slide, and then I want to share with you two things. I want to share with you the next steps piece of this, and then I want to share with you the Peace Game app. So one of our colleagues, Al Jubis, found this quote, which we love, which I think is the spirit of Rotary. There's nothing impossible for Rotary. This was Paul Harris's quote in 1915. So Rotary's been proving that ever since. And this is the next great endeavor to demonstrate that, in my judgment. So the invitation is to be part of Rotary's first comprehensive global peace initiative. Its first comprehensive global peace initiative, combining its reach, 200 countries, 46,000 clubs, as you all know, and its standing in the world, and all the capital that represents among the 1.2 million Rotarians, with our proven methodologies, Empowerment Institute's methodologies we've developed over the last 4 decades and proven through the Peace Game and Peace Zones to achieve a tipping point for peace. Working together, Rotary can realize its founding dream, seated for this hour, of bringing lasting peace to our world. So that is the journey that you all are invited to embark upon.
What?
I'm going to go pick up Holly's medicine at Walmart.
I want to now share with you a page that we've devoted to Rotary, which lays out the specifics on all of that. But this link you should take a picture of, because this will take you there, peace2030.earth Rotary. So let me stop sharing this, and then I'm going to share another thing with you, which is that page, and that will get you grounded in how all this works.
Will that have the URL, David?
Well, the URL is below that.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
all you have to do is copy that URL.
You got it. Thank you.
Give me a moment here. Just one extra moment here. I was sharing this yesterday, and I put it in Chinese for fun, and it's still in Chinese, so I have to get it back into. Actually, I think I'm going to take you into the Peace Game first, and then I will take you into this next piece of the puzzle. So give me one more moment here. Okay, I'm here. Sorry for the time for me to do all that. So this is the Peace Game. This is the thing we've been talking about. It's 7 actions that grew out of the first Earth Run that enabled peace on Earth for 86 days. I'll walk you through the 7 peace actions, explaining how the game works, and then explaining how it will be done in the context of Rotary meetings. So the first action is on empowerment, which is really about building agency as an individual, a person who wants to have impact in the world. It grows out of our learnings on behavioral change. It grows out of our learnings in social change 2.0 or second order change, and it enables you to become an effective agent of change. That's the first action. By the way, the game is played over 9 meetings, so it's 9 distinct meetings in teams of 3. I'll say more about that, but these are the 7 actions that represent the actions part of this game. Then we move into what we call the peace building actions: oneness, unity, and cooperation. Our definition, I know there's a term of art now in Rotary called positive peace, which is a step moving forward from peace being defined as the absence of war. Well, this takes that to the next level of how one defines it on a personal level, on a community level. So oneness is learning how to befriend the other being someone who has a different skin color, a different political persuasion, a different religion, a different ethnicity, a different worldview. Our world right now has evolved into the other. That's our problem as a species. We have othered one another. This action helps you learn how to befriend the other, finding out who and how you other people, and then transforming that. More to be said. So this is moving from separation to oneness. Then we move into the unity action, which is moving from division to unity. Division meaning, in our, at least the American culture, this whole phenomenon of identity politics and how the world is organized by all these different definitions called identities. So this is looking for not what divides us, but what brings us together. And how we do that is we learn how to celebrate that which we share in common. What do we share in common? One of the great things about Rotary is that it has really mastered this, well, mastered maybe is too strong a word, but it has certainly furthered this notion of finding things that are in common. And that's what's required to have a 200-country organization be successful. So this is about finding what that is and celebrating it with other people. The third of the peace building actions is on cooperation. This is learning how to cooperate for the common good. And again, it's wonderful that Rotary has demonstrated so many of these actions, and cooperation is certainly one of the strong suits of Rotary. ICC is a great model of that. But this isn't just cooperation, it's moving from silo to cooperation, because right now we are individuated into my nonprofit, my Rotary Club, my country, my NGO, my government agency, my sector. So this is looking at how we can move from that siloed approach to cooperation, which finds common ground where we can come together and do something that we couldn't do on our own. I will just take a sidebar here to kind of capture this moment for what I see the growing edge of humanity. Growing edge is a term we use in our empowerment work for the next growth place. So a little biological evolutionary history. 800 million years ago, we were facing our first extinction level threat. We're now facing number 6. But 800 million years ago, that threat was that there was too much oxygen in the atmosphere, and all we had were single-cell organisms that were dying because they couldn't process it. They weren't complex enough to process it. And so they band together and they created something called multicellular organisms, which is how we have evolved from that moment. That's the same crisis we're facing now. All these single-cell organisms are organizations, our NGOs have to band together if we're going to get to this next level. So this action really speaks to that important growth place for us as a species. And then we move into what I call the field building actions, So the first of these is literally building the field of peace, but in the ways that I'm characterizing it, of oneness, unity, and cooperation. So that's looking for organizations that further those 3 qualities and investing your time and your money in supporting them. So abundance. It also builds the spirit of generosity. Again, something Rotarians are pretty good at, I would say. And the 6th of the actions and the 2nd of the field building actions is called love. And we use the definition of the Greeks of agape love, which is love of humanity. And that gets expressed in this action through praying for and visualizing and setting intentions for peace on earth, which specifically can look like peace in different parts of the earth where there's conflict or places where there's natural disasters. So it's the power of intention, the power of prayer, the energetic shifts that come with that understanding of how to use one's thoughts. And then the seventh action is on faith. And this is about engaging others to play the peace game. We can't get there unless we get to these tipping points. 40 million is the magic number for 1/2 of 1% of humanity. But this isn't just getting more people to play the peace game. In order to do that, you have to have faith in yourself that you can go and engage others. You have to have faith that others care enough about the future of our world that they're wanting to be part of something that can create peace on earth and peace in their communities. It's also having faith that humanity has a future. Many people have given up on our future. And it's also having faith that peace on earth by 2030 is possible. So this is a faith building action. And ultimately, we call this the movement building action. So this is how the actions are designed. So each action has a clearly defined purpose. In this case, it's to befriend those who are different from you, especially those you may have rejected, avoided, or ignored in the past. So we then have a list of those types of people. Some are easy, some are not easy. A family member you try to avoid is not easy. An acquaintance, friend, or relative or neighbor with whom you have a conflict is not easy. Some of them are straightforward, but we just neglect the opportunity. Person that you see passing by you on the street. So it takes you out of your comfort zone, which is where the peace game is played. We call that the growing edge. And it gets you to actually start growing into a place you haven't been. This is not about a pat on the back that you do this. It's about growing and evolving into some place you haven't been before, which is why the game is transformational. And then this tells the origin story from the first Earth Run, how we learned about this. You know, some of our meetings with amazing people across Africa, the president of China, places all over the world that have received this. This tells our story with Good Morning America, who covered the Earth Run over its 86-day journey. And it shows the video clips of the world responding to this torch of peace being passed around the world. And then there's a meditation, which really allows you to internalize each of these practices. We call it a frequency that looks at how to apply it with your friends, your family, your community members, your co-workers, and so on. So that's where the learn part is. Then you go into the game itself, which is the action part. And first you create a plan. We call it a game plan. In this action, there are 3 levels of play. So bronze, silver, or gold peace medals, depending upon how many people you befriend. You set your goal. It's approximately 15 minutes per, so you can see how many people, how much time it'll take to do this work. Could be less or more. And then you have to create your action plan. And your action plan is both your growth plan as well as your logistics. So how do you want to grow? Like, what do you want to accomplish through learning about oneness so that you become a stronger, better human being as a result of this, and a more enlightened human being, and a more expanded human being? What's your plan? So what do you want to accomplish in terms of putting this on the ground? What does that look like for you? You can be doing this in the next week, several weeks. You have several weeks to do each of the actions. If the action is a complex action like this, that might take time. You set it, schedule in your calendar. You describe what support you want from your 3-person team, and then you take the action. And then you move into the share part, which is the next meeting where you come back and share with your team and the larger community that you are part of what your learnings were. And you put in what you did, how many people you befriended, and then you get a medal accordingly. I've been doing this for a bit, so I've now gotten a gold medal. I've done 36 befriending the others in various games, and this is some of the learnings that I had. So that's the game, and that's a variation on the theme for all 7 actions. And this is the game board. This is how we keep score. So as of today, 3,370 players have taken 73,821 peace actions, 608 cities, 67 countries. This weekend, there is a Rotary conference, the Waterton Glacier International Peace Park Assembly, taking place in Canada, where about 100 people will be playing the peace game, as we did in Calgary as part of that conference. So there'll be a lot more people, and they're keeping a thermometer. They want everyone to participate. They want to see if they can max out the number of peace actions and gold medals. So we'll see. We'll keep you posted. So that's how that works. And then this keeps track of the global peace actions per action. One of my favorites is 29,872 people who have been othered or have been befriended. And this is some interesting befriendings, including young girls who can't go to school in Afghanistan who befriended the Taliban and transformed their energy between those two polarities, if you will. This keeps track of teams and how your team's doing, and different peace actions and how you're doing. This keeps score of your team, including how each team member is doing and also what their status is with medals. These are resources. This is our peace game meeting guides. And when you play the Rotary peace game, there will be a Rotary version for a meeting guide for each of these actions that the facilitator will use. So it kind of walks you through the process of how this works. The normal peace game is 2 hours, but if you are playing as part of a Rotary club, it's 45 minutes, divided into 3 elements. The first 15 minutes is to debrief the group's experience, all the club members that are participating. Then you have 30 minutes divided into 2 parts. The first part is where you share with your team your experiences of the last week, and then you create a plan for the next week. The same basic structure of the 2-hour meetings, but just more streamlined. And this is the profile, and this is where you keep track. And if you can plan multiple teams, then you can keep track of your team. So that's the peace game. Let me do one more thing. I want to now just take you to this one page, if I can get there easily, which is the next steps page that I was going to take you to earlier. That's becoming a problem for me to get there. I may have to start all over again. Yeah, I'm going to have to get out and try to get there another way. So anyway, that's the peace game. Let me just do this one more thing, and then we'll have some time for questions, and then we'll do our exercise. Okay, I got there. So this is a page because everyone asks, okay, now what's the next step? So this is the next steps. This is just the peace2030.org/Rotary page. And this lays out the process. Starts with the slide presentation that I just shared. It invites people to be part of this. So things that I've really talked about. Then this is the application. So if you want to play the peace game in your club, this is the application to fill out. And it goes into some of your background information. And then you have, why do you wish to do this? Talks about your club and a lot of other details. So 8 questions. And then this lays out the timeline and the process. I shared some of this last time. So you engage your Rotary Club by sharing this 20-minute Rotary Peace Game podcast. This is how one engages a club. This tells the story of the Rotary Peace Game, and it can be done as part of a normal 20-minute program. So it fits right into the structure of Rotary. Then afterwards, you discern if your club wants to play the peace game. If not, they've learned about the peace game. But if they do, you'd explain that it's a 9-meeting, 45-minute process, weekly or bi-weekly. Some clubs will want to do it as part of their formal meeting. Some may not be ready to do that, and it can be done either weekly or bi-weekly. And I laid out the different ways that can be done. So that's a question for the club. I know some clubs are ready to do fully invest in their meeting structure. Some want to do it before or after because they can't get 100% buy-in. This is the guide that I think I shared with you last time. This lays out the specifics of how the game works from a Rotary point of view. It has the 4-way test in it. It has a lot of stuff, all the benefits, and you can just, click on that and download it. And then on October 21st and November 11th, we're having a facilitator training. So if this is something you wish to do, you sign up. And then I will be facilitating that training. It's a 2-hour training on how to bring this to your club and how to lead it, facilitate it. It's not complicated facilitation, but it does require some knowledge. The pilot will begin January 15th through June 1st. So if you wish to be in the pilot, you need to allocate that time frame for your club and yourself. There'll be a support group that I'll be facilitating for the facilitators of these Rotary Peace Games. And I encourage as many of you as possible to actually participate in the global online version of the Peace Game so you really understand it well before you start facilitating it, which isn't to say you couldn't do it without that. But if you have that experience, you'll be far more articulate and empowered because you've actually been through it. So the next online Peace Game starts, it's Wednesdays, every Wednesday from October 15th through December 10th, 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and there's a place where you can register. And then the last thing is that if your club wishes to create a peace zone in your community, and this is the ultimate goal for me, and I think for the Moonshot, you'll need to apply for acceptance in the Rotary Peace Zone Leadership Corps, which I've talked about previously. And that process of how all that works is described here. So I went through that last time as well, so I won't go through that again, but you just have to click here. And then the applications come out December 1st. And if you want to get an application, you just want to sign up here, which allows us to know that you're interested, and then we can make sure you get the application on December 1st. If you don't sign up, you can still come in afterwards, but that'll give us the ability to actually know who's ready and make sure we get you the application then. And then these are just an overview, a one-page overview of the piece of the Moonshot, a one-page description of the Rotary Peace Game with some testimonials. This is good for you to share with some of your people who may be considering this because it gives a good sense of this from a Rotary point of view, and also there's great testimonials. And then there's a podcast for how the Peace Zone works. Thank you for your attention. That's a lot to take in. So let me stop and see if there are any questions or comments before we do the visioning exercise. So if there are, just do the raise hand function down below, and I will, I love all your comments through your little emojis. Raul, good to see you, my friend. I missed you last time. So if there are any questions or comments, I mean, I guess maybe I did such a great job. I have answered every possible question.
You did have a couple of hands raised, I believe.
Okay, let me see if I can see the hands. But if I can't see the hands, just do the raise.
VJ, can we help David with the hands that are raised?
Well, I should be able to see.
As of now, there are no hands raised.
Yeah, I would see it if there are hands raised, but there might be.
Okay, well, somebody had their hand up earlier, so.
Okay, so last question. There may not be any questions, but if there are, this is a moment. Raul.
Yeah,
please.
Raul has.
You're muted. Raul, you're muted. Bottom left under audio to unmute.
Yeah.
Now you're
Can
good.
you hear me?
Now we're good. Yep.
All right. Thank you. So, my friend, Club will ask, is there any fees for this game?
So there are no fees.
Okay.
There's no fees to play the peace game. There's no charge for that. Just your dedication to creating peace. That's the only fee. And your seriousness of commitment to actually do it well, and do it at a high level of engagement. The one thing about the peace game is you can kind of play around the margins, but you won't get really good value. So it's really a commitment to invest the time to go on the journey. We call it a peace intensive, but there's no fee.
Sure. Thank you. And how about like, if we all play together, is there like a synchronized data we have at the end? We can see, what are the scores and all?
Yes. Were you here when I showed the scoreboard?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the scoreboard that you have, and that will share with you what's been accomplished by your team. And then globally, we don't have any ability right now, but we could certainly try to figure out what an India scoreboard could look like, or a community scoreboard. But right now, that's not part of the system. But you could aggregate that, just knowing what's going on with the different clubs that might participate, or the different members of your club.
Right. So David, do you have like a centralized data for this? So the clubs who play around the globe, does the whole data synchronize to you, and you can see like what they are really doing and having fun with it?
Well, I'm just going to take a moment and just maybe unpack that a little bit more in the peace game. So let me just take a moment to share with you how that works. I mean, I went through it quickly, but I'll go through it more so you understand it better. It's a good question because you really want to be able to tell the story. And feedback is a great way to tell the story. So let me get this right here. Well, I'm going to share screen. I'm now in the Waterton Peace game, interestingly enough, the one that's taking place this weekend. And I am in Chinese, just so you can see what this looks like. I'm not that was my answer to your question to share with you in Chinese. I have to get out of Chinese now. That's a good question. So I'm showing you a flaw in the peace game. Once you're in a language, you have to figure out how to get out of it again. Well, I'm not getting out of Chinese easily. Sorry, take you on my little adventure here. But let me go down to the profile and get into the normal peace game, which is Peace Team 1.
I hope Dr. Sam can understand this.
You mean in the Chinese?
Yeah.
But
if I can hear it, I probably can decipher a little bit, but reading it, no.
Okay, now I know how to do that. It's down here. Sorry. I'm showing you the finer points of this. We'll put it in English so we can all benefit from this. So coming back to the game board, but that was a little fun. Okay, so this is how scores are kept. This is the global score, but you also have your team score. Then you also have your individual score. So that's the tracking. And then you have your team, and you can see literally how your team's doing and what percentage of each action everyone has taken and the medals. So what we would have to do, Raul, would be to find out all the teams that are taking place, let's say in a club or a city or a region or a country, and then we could aggregate it. That's something we could do, but we just have to have all the information, and our team could do that. So that would be the answer to that question.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments? Anybody?
Yeah, I had my hand up, David, and I got it.
Okay, Sam, and then I think Christopher had his hand up, but you go next.
Let Chris go first, and because I'm really want to focus on the education part of this with the teachers and the students.
Yes, great, sure.
All right, Chris, why don't you go ahead, sir?
Yes, thank you, David. Well, I'm a veteran of the Human Potential Movement and Buckminster Fuller's work with World Game, and I'm all for game playing, but eventually you got to come up with strategies. And I wonder where that fits into your model.
Well, let's start with the game is actually a strategy itself in its own right, but I will go into the strategy at large. The last time I spoke to this group, I went into the details of the strategy. It's a three-part strategy. I've also written, strategy is actually my strong suit, but I mean, I could go into a lot of the details, but the fundamental idea for those, how many people were not here last time? A bunch. So let me do one thing for you then. Let me share one more thing which answers your question. Certainly it lays out our strategy. But I think it also opens up a different question, which is how does one really create change? What is one's theory of change? So I will take a moment on that for the benefit of those that were not here last time. And for those that were, it'll kind of be a bit of a review here. And I think it's better I can do it in this more formal way than just sharing it out loud. But this is the fundamental, this is the slides I showed last time. And this goes into what we call the strategy. And the strategy is based on three ideas: individual transformation at scale, community transformation at scale, and building a global movement based on a tipping point. And so the strategy actually is amplified by virtue of being part of Rotary, because what we get to do with Rotary is we have the scaling capabilities. And so I go into all of those elements. I basically reviewed this, but you can listen to Sam's video from last time, how the shifting of hearts and minds works, how the shifting of how the transformational process works, the community transformation process, the tipping point process, and so on. But I'll share one more thing because, again, you have asked a really central question. This is the Rotary Peace Game Guide, by the way. And this is the Rotary Peace Zone. Well, not the Rotary, but the Peace Zone Handbook. But let me take that question one level deeper, because you are a strategist and appreciate Buckminster Fuller, and also anyone who's serious about the thought of a moonshot. It's helpful to understand the underlying theory of change, which is rarely ever articulated. And I haven't gotten into that level with you yet, but I'll spend a moment on that. There are 8 key ideas of how this works. Give me a moment to find that, and I will walk you through that. I like to have it in front of me so I can capture it in a more refined way. So give me a moment for this. I'm giving you a thorough answer as opposed to just off the top. I gave you one level of it, but I think it's worthy of more depth. So the big picture is the notion of second order change. Most change initiatives right now are based on first order change, that is incremental change, and that will get incremental change at best. But this is based on something we call second order change. And again, it's a review of what I said last time. So from a social change point of view, our world is organized around social systems, healthcare, education, political system, economic system. Those systems are deeply stressed right now. And when they are stressed, they become unmoored from that which keeps them in place, and they start to break down, or they become marginally functional. The poster child in the United States is our political system, which is borderline functional or just totally dysfunctional at this point. But when a system is breaking down or marginally functional, it becomes unmoored, and therefore it can also evolve to a higher level of performance and social value. And that's called second order change. And for those that are seriously interested in that, I wrote a book called Social Change 2.0, a blueprint for reinventing our world, which describes that. And so what we've built here is a second order change initiative for peace versus a first order change initiative. for peace. And let me explain first order change. So first order change has 4 elements: government, command and control, passing laws, financial incentives and disincentives, so paying people to change, awareness campaigns, telling people what they should do, and they hope that if they've done it, they will change. The change agents hope that. And the last is protest. And when you are doing second order change and all you have is first order change tools, you get to a state where you can't believe the world can possibly be better because you can't see the tools that you're using actually producing that outcome, and they're not designed for it. They're incremental. The power of second order change is ultimately based on 2 key ideas. Aside from the 5 practices that I describe in my book. The first is a compelling vision of the possible that pulls people towards it. Peace on Earth by 2030 moonshot. Rotary at scale, being able to actually impact peace on the planet. These are compelling visions that pull people. And then the second is the means to enable that, which is the peace game and the peace zones. So that gets people in the game, no pun intended.
David, can we move to the rooms? People have started leaving.
We can. Let me just finish
Because
this.
people have started leaving, then the audience will is reducing. Continue.
I hear you, my friend. Let me just finish this one sentence, this one point, and then we can bring them into the rooms. Actually, VJ, the problem is I have to ask the questions before I get them in the rooms. So if they leave, they leave, I think, at this point. But it's not going to, I can't get there until here's the big picture. I may just decide to do the questions without the rooms at this point, given the questions that we're dealing with right now, because that will take a lot of extra time. Let me just finish this, and then we can regroup and see where we are with the breakout rooms. Anyway, I'll go through this rather quickly. The basic idea, to answer your question, which is a big question, is that there are 8 principles. One is around the idea of how one shifts hearts and minds, principle 1, which is the focus for this. The second is how one engages communities as the driver for change. The third is how one builds competencies in these practices as another key element of this. The next one is the idea of accessibility. This is where the peace game comes in, because peace initiatives inevitably do not get people engaged because they don't know how to engage people in ways that get them to want to literally play. And then it all comes together through communities at scale. And ultimately, when you set a specific date and time, then you have the potential for people to focus. If it becomes amorphous, nothing really can change. I'm going through this rather quickly. So those are some of the things. I won't spend more time on that, but coming back to your point. So let me do a check-in now. I think we've run out of time for questions. Or Sam, maybe you have a quick one, and then I can move into the next step. Sam, you're muted. Sam, you are muted.
You're mute, Dr. Sam.
Thank you, Rahul. I think we want to stay as a group of the whole if we can, David, so that we can get through everything that
yeah, I think given time, that would be
we're running out of time. But Ashok had a question, and then we have the gentleman from the tribal schools that just wants to introduce himself.
Okay,
and has a question.
So we'll take 2 questions, and then I want to do a visioning exercise.
Yeah, Ashok, your question, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, David, for the details. I have 3 Rotary clubs in our city of Rochester, Minnesota, and we have 2 of the 3 teams that are invested or committed. How do we, and what's your guidance on the success of holding 3 people together for the 9-week experience? And how do we you said create a separate meeting time for the 45-minute sessions? Can you just elaborate a little bit on that success?
Here's the bond. Thank you, Ashok. If you go to peace2030.earth/Rotary, then you will have all the information that answers those questions. But just to give you a brief overview, the Rotary Peace Game does all the heavy lifting. Once you get people in it, the structure is already in place, and you just have to follow the structure. And I'll also be doing the onboarding to a Peace Game facilitator on those 2 dates that I identified. So that's where you can get all this information at the next level of detail. Because your questions are good ones, but there'll be actually a training for facilitators on all those questions.
Yeah, thank you so much. And the other one is just a comment in that I'm really excited about the use of a science-based social change model that you have with references. And thank you for sharing that so generously with us.
You're welcome, Ashok. I mean, for the hardcore, the science of tipping points is quite something on how one actually creates change through understanding tipping points. But another question or a comment, and then we should break into the visioning exercise. I think maybe we're ready to go then, Sam.
Okay. Now, are you going to try to do this as breakout?
I'm going to do this with the whole group at this point.
Okay, I think that's going to be better because
if we
we're
have
already
more
running out of
time, then
time.
the dyads work great. But if we don't, then the large group is perfect.
You got it. Okay.
Suresh, I think I have the last question. Suresh, for now, your last question.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Go, please.
Okay. So this is achieving peace in next 5 years. I think this is a very challenging task. Are you willing to collaborate with others who are like having the same goal? I mean, there are a lot of people. There are many different groups that are trying to achieve the same thing. Are you open to collaboration?
Well, so you remember the cooperation action I was describing, cooperation for the common good, moving from silos to cooperation. If I don't do that, I will not be in any integrity with everything I believe in.
Okay.
But that's just the downside. The upside is when the moonshot, the original moonshot, was put forward by President Kennedy in 1961, and he gave the assignment to NASA, and it looked around at where it was at in terms of its capacity to create that change. What it discovered was it had about 20% of what it needed, and it had to find the other 80%. That's my motto. So I'm looking, Suresh, not just open, but eager to cooperate with anybody who has any capacity to have impact around this idea. And even just getting the idea accepted, Peace on Earth by 2030, is incredible opportunity, because then we have alignment. That's one of our 3 goals, is to get alignment around that vision and commitment to that. And then all hands on deck. So Suresh, do reach out to me if you have any, and everyone else, any groups that you have. Absolutely essential to do this, not just across the planet, but across every city and in every country. So thank you for that question.
Thank you.
Okay, with
All
that,
right, David, back to you.
Let me lead us. So okay, we've had a lot of mental. Let me lead us now through this exercise. Let me just see where we are. So we are 1 hour and 15 minutes into this.
Yeah, we have 15 more minutes formally, and then we can adjourn, and then we can have questions after that.
All right. What I'd like to do is I'd like to invite you into the visioning process. I'm sorry, it took more time in all these questions and what have you than I wasn't even, actually, I'd forgotten that I had to share the deck on the Peace Game. So I think I took more time than I had planned, but it's all good. We'll do this exercise. And then those that can stick around, we'll debrief you. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to get you into imagination mode, into vision mode, because that's where the power is. It's really opening up the imagination, the creative mind of humanity to believe in this and to know how to even hold the space for this idea. So I'm going to ask you 5 questions. And so we're going to now shift into reflection, and just make sure you have something to write with or write on. And then I'll ask you the questions. And then after I ask you the questions, it'll take about 10 or 15 minutes. Those that need to peel off can, and we'll spend the next half hour or so, if we have people's commitment of time, to process them. But before I get into that, if some people might peel off, know that the next steps are to go to peace2030.org/Rotary and sign up for the Rotary Peace Game. So that's your immediate next step for how to move forward if I don't have a moment to regroup with you before we have to
David,
end.
can you just put that right quick in chat and then people can take it and leave if they need to, if you don't
Yeah.
mind.
Okay, you bet.
Thank you.
Okay, that gets you to the page and then you're set. Thereafter, all your questions should be answered from there. And let me also do one more thing. Let me put my email here.
Now, did you post that into chat?
I
don't
did.
see it. Okay.
So you can also reach out to me if you have any questions or desire for partnerships, Suresh, or others, because again, you know, that's what I'm mostly excited by now, are building these partnerships. And we have many, many all across Rotary, I would add, but also outside of Rotary.
Yeah, we don't see your messages in chat, David.
My message should be in chat. Are you not seeing?
We're not seeing it, and Siva said the same thing. I thought maybe it was just me.
Well, I just put it in the chat. Is anyone seeing?
Exactly. So only Dr. Hancock and you to see this messenger. I am Guadalupe Rivero from
All right,
Mexico.
so maybe what I'm doing is that I am responding to someone who sent me a message.
Yeah, you want to do message everyone, David.
Yes, so sorry. Good, thank you for that. Yes, I'm responding to someone who sent me a message. So let me do that better. Get out of that. Sorry, guys.
No problem.
But let me get out of how to do that. Okay.
There we go. That came up, David.
Did it come up?
Yeah, the piece
No,
2030. Yeah.
I have written it for you, David. Please see whether it's right. Is that right?
Hey, I'm stuck in this thing. Let me get out of that and start all over again in the chat because I'm responding to someone. Sorry about that. I'm trying to. Yes, private message business is a problem for me.
Yeah, it says peace 2030 period Earth/Rotary, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, that is up on the screen, and several people that you sent it to personally have put it up. So
okay, let's also put up my email while you're sorry, I can't quite figure out how to get out of private messaging to this one individual.
Up in your upper left-hand corner, it should say everyone. I think you just click on that in the chat section.
In the chat, I can't write pills. Your email, David. All the people can to see in this moment.
Okay, yeah, okay, I see it now. They changed that around. Yes. So yeah, let me put my email in there. Yeah. They used to have it in a different place. Okay, this is my email. Everyone see that?
Yes, it's there, David. Thank you.
And Rotary is not spelled right here, so let me get the right spelling. One of the letters was missing. So, okay, back to the drawing board here. Thank you for your patience. So, okay, let me get these questions out for us. Okay, so first of all, just take a deep breath. Let's get out of mind and into heart and into intuition. So take a few deep breaths to just shift your attention from the intellect to the imagination. And the imagination is really infinite. The piece Moonshot is based on the imagination and the entry into the possible. So my first question for you is, what is your vision? So write down this question and then take a couple of minutes to answer it. What is your vision for the Rotary Peace Moonshot? What is your vision for the Rotary Peace Moonshot? What is your vision for the Rotary Peace Moonshot? So just allow yourself to open up to the possible. Allow yourself to dream into it. Allow yourself to intuit into the future for Rotary and for the planet and for peace on Earth. What is your vision for the Rotary Peace Moonshot? So take a moment to answer that question. You're given permission to dream. Allow yourself to fully step into it. Take another moment if you need it. You can always flesh this out further in the future, but this gets you started.
And you
The
want
second
these
question.
in chat, David?
Well, actually, that would be great if you want to put it into chat. We can
Yeah,
see
let's.
what you're
I
coming up
think
with.
that way you'll have it.
Yeah, please. Wow, great idea, Sam. What a great teammate you are. That'll save us from having to. But I mean,
got it.
we'll be sharing this at large anyway. But this way, everyone can get to share if you wish. So please put it into chat if you're willing. And let me move you to the second question. So do put it in the chat if you are inspired, so we can benefit from your vision, get inspired by it. The second question. What is your vision for your club and or your district, if you are working at a district scale, playing the Rotary Peace game? What's your vision for your club and or your district playing the Rotary Peace game? What would you like it to look like? What's your vision for what happens for your club when they play the Rotary Peace game, for the individual Rotarians in your club, for what your club's trying to do in the world from playing the Rotary Peace game? So take a few moments to answer that question. If this does all that we hope it will do, it will be transformational for your club and your district. And if you are not a Rotarian, make that for your school. If you're here representing a school, and it's not the Rotary Peace game, it's just the peace game at large for you. And I like that one of the doors that it's getting opened is what this will enable your club to achieve, not just individual members, but how this can facilitate your club's aspirations. Or your schools, if you're not a Rotarian. And if you need to peel off, you should just peel off at the top of the hour, or whatever time it is where you are, and we'll just continue. Is that good, Sam? We'll just let them
Yes,
go.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, because we can continue. I think we have open time. VJ, can we leave the Zoom open for about 15 or 20 minutes following 12 noon, my time and your time there in
I mean,
India?
I would say it would be good if we had an extra 30 minutes.
Once you are done with the rooms, I will transfer the whole connection to you and I will leave.
Okay. All right. We know you have to take care of your business,
So
VJ.
he transfers it to
Thank
you,
you for getting us started. Thank
and
you
you
for
can be
getting
the
us started.
co-host and close it out on your own. Okay, the next question.
Is this number 3, David?
Is number 3.
Okay.
So that's the peace game in your club or your district. The next one is the peace zone. What is your vision for your club and or district creating a peace zone? If it's a district, maybe it's many peace zones like you are looking to do in your district, Sam. So what is your vision for your club and or district creating a peace zone? Any peace zones. Someone needs to mute themselves. What is your vision for your club and or district creating a peace zone or peace zones?
इसका refund आया है, उसका interest on refund link. Huh?
It's interesting to see some of your comments in the chat. Do feel free to share them so we can benefit from all your different thoughts. So this is impact at the level of your whole community where you live, where your Rotary Club is established through a peace zone, based on what you know about a peace zone at this point. Sam, your work's cut out for you. I like that.
I know so. If it's got to be audacious and auspicious, right?
It has to be Washington, D.C., and it has to be Sam, and to get this thing to happen in D.C., the official new peace zone for the world. Okay, I'm going to give you another moment, and then we're going to move on to the next question. You'll be able to answer these questions at a more profound level when you understand these things a little bit more, but this is just your first entry into a vision of how you would like to see this transformation happen in your club and your community through the peace zone and the peace game. So the fourth question, what calls you to lead this Peace Moonshot Initiative? I'm assuming that you are called or you wouldn't be here. What calls you to lead this Peace Moonshot Initiative? This includes within Rotary, but certainly within the world at large. So fourth question, what calls you to lead this Peace Moonshot Initiative? What calls you? What's the inner prompting is calling you. A bit of the why. You know, so many times we just act, but we don't often take time to reflect on the why. Take another moment if you need it. And the last question. And I encourage you, if you don't have the time that you might have wished, to continue building out your vision when you have time. And thank you for those who are sharing in the chat, so we can benefit from your visions and your imagination. Okay, the last question is really a more personal question. A peace moonshot is audacious. That is the very nature of a moonshot. We have a strategy to achieve it. It demands people show up. And they don't just have to show up, though. They have to transform, because they have to be agents of change, and they have to be walking the talk. It's not a concept of peace on earth. It's not a mental exercise. It's about individuals transformed and transforming others through this process. So what do you need to learn to be a successful leader of the Peace Moonshot? In your club, your community, and your district, whatever level you're playing at, or your school, if it's a school system, what do you need to learn to be successful as a leader of the Peace Moonshot in your club, your community, and your district? And I would add a second part of that is, how do you need to grow? Where do you need to go that you haven't been before to be successful? So first, what do you need to learn? And the second is, how must you grow to be a successful leader? If you are the same person you are now, you will just get to wherever you've been in your life and whatever impacts you've had. But if you're going to get to a moonshot, you have to go to a place you haven't been before. You have to dig deeper and learn new things, grow in new ways. What do you need to learn? And how must you grow to be successful as a leader? And I would encourage you to state what do you want, always in the positive, what you want, not what you don't want, so that you can build something constructive rather than just mitigating something that isn't good in your world or your life. take another moment. How do you need to grow? What do you need to learn to be effective as a leader of this Peace Moonshot? Anyone need more time? Okay, so let's have a moment to learn from each of you. Any insights from answering those questions for yourself? Any takeaways as you took a moment to reflect? Anyone like to share? Just raise the hand in the raise hand thing if you wish to share. Malati. Hello, Malati. Good to see you again, my friend.
Yes, hello. Thank you, David, for inviting me and I see a few of my team here. And I think this is what you did to us, because whatever questions you just now asked, I spoke about it to my team and I made them curious, actually. And because I made them curious, they were all here. So I think that's what we need to do. I mean, I think it solely depends upon how you are able to communicate the seriousness of peace. And everybody wants peace. But I think making all of us become really sort of resonate with the concept is something which I feel is very important as a leader. So
my question for you is, what do you need to learn and how must you grow to enable the kind of impact that you want to have around the issue of peace?
So first and foremost is when I was looking at this question that you gave just now, how do you grow and what do you need to learn? See, the first basic thing is I want it to happen. So being very positive and seeing that it is covering a large part of my mind, and my heart. So I think that it has to capture my heart, the feeling of wanting peace. That is one. And I don't know how to do it. So open to learning and listening to others. Because today that's what I did. I listened to you and I heard quite a few of the questions which came. I think for me, listening and learning from one another is going to be the way I function. So this is what I think.
One of the things we teach in the peace game in the very first section, called the startup meeting, is the notion of the attitude in which one goes on such a journey. And the first quality of being is what we call open-mindedness, which I think you're representing. And the second is wholeheartedness, which you're also representing. So you have the attitude, which is all one can ask for when one goes on a transformational journey like this. So I think you're prepared well for the journey. And I will say, if I've done my job well, you will go to places you could not imagine, because that's the nature of a transformational journey. It takes you to the places that you haven't been before. You may be able to imagine them, but you certainly haven't been there before, or else you're not growing. So it's not about, I've been there, done that. I've been doing peace for X years, decades, lifetimes. It's really about the willingness to learn and grow. So thank you, Malati, for modeling that so beautifully.
But I have one question, David.
Yes.
Because see, what has happened is I was looking at it as you were conducting this session. I was thinking that I must get some young people into this space. But I have a question. Will they understand what peace really means? Because they are all very young and maybe not very wise. So maybe I'll need to sit down with you to ask you, how do we go about?
Let me give you a quick answer to that question.
Yeah.
Some people are young in their bodies. Some are young in their worldliness and their life experience. So young isn't only about age. When one goes on a journey like this, if it is truly going to be successful, one has to find one's growing edge. So when you speak to the peace game, where do they feel othered by other young people? Where are they othering other young people? Why do they do that? That's the game. I mean, that's literally the game. I use the metaphor of the game, but it's also the game. That's how one actually plays the world, how to create peace in the world. So the peace game actions are eminently pragmatic and eminently growthful. So it doesn't require intellectual understanding. It requires one to just go to the growing edge around the questions that are asked of them. And those questions are not about how long you've been on the planet or how wise you are, but how honest you are, how vulnerable you are with yourself. And if you answer at that level, then you're hitting a home run. So I would say young people feel the pain quite deeply, particularly, the high school student types, because they're in the, someone once described it, this is the official time for pain, because there's adolescence. So I think they'll be fine. I think we just need to take them on the ride. Good question, Malati. Sam.
Thank you.
I just wanted to respond to Malati, if you don't mind, David. I was raised in 4-H, Head, Heart, Hands, and Health, through the land-grant university program. And the program started in 1907, and it was to teach the youth to teach the adults. So it's the opposite. They flipped everything. And so peace was embedded into actually our learning. There's now 6 million 4-Hers all over the United States. It's been actually growing. And so really engaging the youth, because they're more open. They have less impacts of, David was talking about the pain and other kinds of things. They may have it within their family, within their community, but they're more curious, they're more open, they're more spontaneous. In many ways, you'll find them teaching whatever adults you bring into the program. If it's allowed and fostered, these youth will teach you much about peace. And I've always, everybody keeps saying youth is the future generations and all that. And I've never bought into that. Youth are now and the future. So we don't want to wait.
And Sam is a role model of what he learned when he was young, right? 4-H.
Yeah, absolutely. What I've been doing, this is my 52nd year with Emerald Planet. It all came out of starting at the age of 8 in 4-H. And I've been trying to keep up with David ever since. But I just think, this really gives the opportunity, a structure for youth to become involved. And that's why we've invited these 150 tribal schools. And there's 36 Catholic schools, which are part of this private school system in Gujarat. And I think we'll find amazing things in these schools because they're looking as a school system, if you will, to adopt this.
Yeah, and what we need to do is connect.
You go right ahead. I've talked too much, but
no, but I want to connect
her
Melody.
question was excellent.
Once we get this India school thing, I want Melody to weave into it because this is really building the.
Oh yeah, we absolutely. Yeah. And Rahul has a school in Uttar Pradesh that he wants to have as a role model. And that's the largest, I think it's the third or fourth. Anyway, it would be like this in the top 10 largest country by population in one state that he's working in. And he has one of the leading schools. And I think having this program there is going to have a great ripple effect.
I mean, I think that would be a great project for a peace zone that is built by a Rotary Club, is to bring it to the schools as part of their work. From
and Rahul is very interested in that. And then Makesh and Father Daz are interested on their part. So we have wonderful opportunities here, David, to bring it to every level of society.
40 million is our magic number. We need young people. We need every age. Any other questions or any other sharing of your experience with any of these questions? Raul, let me call on you. I'm going to pick on you since I didn't see you last time.
Right.
Any question, any response to any reflection, any of the answers of your questions that you came up with?
And about your school, Rahul.
Oh no, but I wanted to stay on the learning before we go to that. But yes, I want to hear about your school also. But
Well, David, I'm still learning and I'm getting exciting, every minute, every second on this. So I think this will really go a long way between our ICC and the Rotarians and those who are dedicatedly still stick here, after, a long, time of our Zoom. I think we all love it. And this is something, not even playing the game, but this is something, it will be something build up in between us in future.
Yes.
So I take, I take this in such a way. And as more and more we circulate, I think it will be more inspiring for you. But for us, as term of peace, I would say Rotarians will love it, and we can add more and more, players into it. And we can have more boundings into it. The whole idea, even, we can connect the districts, we can connect our, intercity clubs into it, and fix some time into it. So, everyone will be like waiting and doing it, for a fun. So.
I remember our meeting very well in Calgary with you and Sam dinner in that interesting place where we got to dinner. Some gambling casino. Interesting. That was our backdrop. And I remember your enthusiasm then as well. And what I would propose, Raul and Sam, is let's regroup now that the second session's over. We envision that then. And let's figure out the India strategy. Let's see who's shown up and really how we can, strategically grow the strategy for India. Because we think I still believe India can be the part of Rotary that scales this the first. So let's have that conversation.
Sure.
Anyone else want to share anything? Sam, were you about to say something?
Well, I was just going to say I agree with you about India.
Yeah.
You'll have your 44 million in India alone. So
well, that's an extra 10%, which we'll take. We'll can use the extra 4 million extra.
Yeah, there you go.
And yes, looks like Christopher has his hand up.
Yeah, speaking of India, I'm about to get on a call with Arizona State University that's opening up 5 different campuses in India for their engineering school, and also a course that I'm developing on regenerative ecological design, which I think is at the strategy level. You're creating the context. These are strategies. We need a new kind of engineering, ecological engineering, what some people call regenerative ecological engineering. So I see some parallels, and I'm excited to further explore that.
Great, Christopher. Whatever support you wish to offer, we'll be grateful to receive. Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else? Any other reflections? We have about another 7 minutes before we'll call it a day. I also get to pick on people, which I like to do. I'm going to pick on Suresh. Suresh, are you there?
Yeah, I just
I'd love to get your
came from
reflections.
my
I remember last time you had all
dinner.
kinds of thoughts. So what are your thoughts about from
I was
answering those
listening
5
to
questions?
it.
Sorry?
Yeah, so I think you have worked really hard. You know, you thought a lot, and it's well planned. You have an app, you have a website, plan for 5 years. A lot of thoughts are going into it. Now, getting this started, that's a big challenge, right? You have to get it mainstream, at least
Yes.
in the Rotary, right? We have thousands of clubs all over the world. Where to get it started? So that's the big thing that you have to plan. That's
Unfortunately,
marketing,
Suresh, we're
right?
not hearing. You're
We
breaking
need to
up.
find a marketing strategy. And something very secret. I think so that's all. Yeah. So let me slow down. What I'm saying is we need a marketing plan. You know, how do you market this project we have? You need to reach out to as many people as possible.
That is one of the big questions, of course, and Rotary, just within Rotary itself. I will say we're going to get a big opportunity, and Larry will be part of this, on the International Day of Peace on the 21st of September, because Stephanie Urchik is organizing a big Peace Day event for Rotary. And among others, Larry will be sharing about the Oregon Peace Trail. He'll be teeing up the moonshot. He'll be also sharing about his evolution from peace poles to the Oregon Peace Trail, the Peace Game, and so on. And then the closing of that will be Patrick Eakes, who is the Zone 3334 RI Director, who'll be inviting Rotary to go on the stride, to go after what he calls the next great endeavor, the Peace Moonshot. And so do tell people about that, because that'll be a tipping point, not necessarily a tipping point, but a significant moment for getting the word out. And Suresh, if you have any ideas for how we tell the story to Rotary, that would be great. You know, our job now is to hit a tipping point in Rotary, so that it starts using on its own momentum. And if we get Rotary tipping, then we can start tipping a lot of other places.
Yeah. I will be attending the talk. I know I have it in my calendar, and I will be writing to you. I'll see.
Yes, please write to me.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
I'd love to have you on the team, on the Moonshot team, and the tipping point part of the Moonshot team, a very precise part of the Moonshot team, how to hit tipping points within Rotary. Any other comments or questions?
We have 3 minutes, David.
We have 3 minutes. This will be the last question if you have one. Otherwise, I'll just close this out. Okay. Well, thank you for hanging in there, the hardcore. We have done a lot of work today, my friends. Thank you for your time and your interest. I'm going to just close out with a guided meditation so we can kind of internalize today a bit. So take a few deep breaths. Allow yourself to get into your heart, get into the part of you that you call the interior self. And breathe out anything you need to let go of to be present to this moment, this pregnant moment on planet Earth. And for you, you showed up here for a reason. And that reason will reveal itself as you give yourself more to this moonshot idea. And I'd like us to fast forward 5 years. Well, a little over 5 years. It's December 31st, 2030. That is our target date for this planet to tip into peace on Earth. And it has tipped. It has tipped because many different people showed up, not the least of which is that the Rotary community at scale showed up. You showed up. The people in your spheres of influence showed up. And Earth is now on a different trajectory. Peace on Earth is now an expectation that humanity has for itself, not a far-off dream, but an expectation. And we are building cultures of peace, communities all over the world. People are practicing these 7 peace practices. And young people are growing up with an excitement about the future and ready to create these cultures as part of their life work. And Rotary has transformed itself into the leading organizing force for peace. It has realized its potential and has manifested it. So, my friends, with that said, let us grow those seeds that you just generated, both through the 5 questions as well as that little guided visualization. Reach out to me if there are any questions that you wish to have, talk about, ways to play together more. I am 100% present to receive you, and I'm grateful for everything you're doing. And let's realize Rotary's potential and this hour as the moment when Rotary, which seeded this vision in 1905, realized its dream. Sam, thank you. Vijay, thank you. Raul, thank you. Everyone who's helped organize this, thank you. And we'll hopefully see many of you soon. Do sign up so we can get you in the Rotary Peace Game. Be well. Bye now.
Okay, thank you, David. Appreciate it. And thank everybody that showed up. And we'll be getting the recording out very soon.
Beautiful. Thanks, Sam.
All right,
Bye.
take care. Yeah, bye-bye.
Thank you.